Hello and welcome to Al Arabiya News. I'm your host, Micheal Prendergast. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Eddie Hearn, the chairman of Matchroom Sports, to discuss Fury versus Usyk, which is taking place in Riyadh on Saturday. Eddie, thank you so much for your time. So, Fury has said he's going to annihilate Usyk. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Fury's a great talker, and listen, a lot of the time he's delivered throughout his career. I think he's going to have to do something extraordinary to win this fight, but he's capable of doing extraordinary things. We've seen it in the past, and I think high-level sport and boxing is no different. All comes down to performance on the night. You can say anything you want, but you know that Oleksandr Usyk is going to be special on Saturday night. He always is. He's the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, in my opinion. But Tyson Fury, let's not forget, the last fight was very close. But he's got a lot of work to do on Saturday. I think Usyk has to be the favourite, but Fury can do it. But he's going to be the underdog in my eyes.
And I suppose even with Fury and the fact that in his last camp, he had that really bad eye injury. He couldn't spar, I believe, for 8 weeks. How much of a factor is that going to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think last time, I don't think his preparation would have been perfect. Like you said, he had the cut. He had a short time in training camp. This time he would have been able to spar, well. Don't forget, he suffered his first defeat of his career against Oleksandr Usyk. And that's difficult to take and difficult to accept. And people bounce back in different ways. You'd expect him to bounce back with vengeance. But he's like I said, he's got a tough task ahead of him. But I don't think there'll be any excuses from training camp or whatever. I think you'll get the best Tyson Fury that there can be on Saturday.
And obviously His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has said, obviously in the video, he said to Tyson Fury, I want you to do the job. I want you to set up the trilogy. Is this something that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously from our side, we've got Anthony Joshua and an Anthony Joshua-Tyson Fury fight would be a huge global event as well. So I think everything will be decided on Saturday. If it's another amazing fight, which it could well be, and Fury wins, could set up a trilogy fight between the two of them. But we're just very lucky that obviously through Riyadh season, we're getting to see these incredible nights, and Saturday could be the biggest yet.
As you just mentioned, Eddie, in terms of the box office, the fight the world is waiting to see is AJ versus Fury. In terms of the biggest box office ever, do you think it could break records?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for years, and still to this day, I keep getting asked, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Obviously, if Fury wins the fight on Saturday, that sets up a massive fight with AJ. If he loses the fight, it's still a huge fight with AJ. We've got the potential of a Daniel Dubois rematch as well. So I think AJ's next fight will be Fury or Dubois. I don't see many other big fights out there for him. He just wants the biggest fights available to him. So the result of Saturday will be very important for Anthony Joshua as well.
Absolutely. And in terms of sporting events in the world, obviously Saudi has just been awarded the FIFA World Cup in 2034. You yourself have taken part in some of the biggest events in Saudi. How excited are you to witnessing the World Cup in the Kingdom?
You know what? I think until you've been to the Kingdom and witnessed what's happening here, it's very difficult to understand. I've been coming here since 2019 when Anthony Joshua boxed Andy Ruiz. The change is quite incredible. It is genuinely one of my favourite places in the world to come. The weather, the hotels, the hospitality, but also the energy and the vibrancy of the youth in this country. There's an incredible amount of change happening, and people are very excited and embracing the incredible schedule of sporting and entertainment events that are landing in the Kingdom. And, people talk about the reasons behind it. The reasons behind it is because the country is changing. And, if it changes through sport, even better for me, because I think sport is not just the greatest educator in the world, but in terms of entertainment, it can't be beaten. And obviously it's our business as well. So this week we've got the snooker happening as well here. Ronnie O'Sullivan and all the best snooker players in the world. You've got Fury Usyk. It's absolutely non-stop. And really, to bring the World Cup here is just another level. And what I can tell you is every event that I've ever done in Saudi has been delivered to the highest possible standards. So you know that the World Cup, every stop is going to be pulled out to make this one of the greatest World Cups ever. And you know the kingdom will deliver. Like, there is absolutely no doubt. So what a moment for the country. And, the work will continue, I guess, for Saudi Arabia and the government until then to get everything perfectly right. And in the meantime, so many sporting events in particularly Riyadh season schedule. It's just incredible.
Yes, I completely agree. And to go back to the snooker, obviously there's been a lot of reporting on the $1 million prize to score a maximum in snooker at the moment. Obviously, we all remember the days in snooker in the UK when obviously you had the prize of £147,000 for hitting a maxi. But the prize money has dwindled over the years. How excited are you again to see these sorts of prize money for maximum breaks in snooker? Is it good for the sport?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we even added a Riyadh season golden ball to the table, which actually is worth 20 points, which gives you a 167, right? And that was an idea from His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, because he just wants to innovate and he wants to, interact and attract the viewers. Snooker has huge global audience, but it is a sport that is, has got an aging audience in that respect because it's a traditional broadcast event, normally on linear TV. Yourself, it's an institutionalized event on the BBC. It's huge in China. And what he's done is just to try and create more interest. Obviously, last year it was $500,000 for the 167. Now it's $1 million, and every player is aggressively trying to make that break, and it just makes the game more exciting. So snooker's been a great addition to the kingdom amongst a plethora of sports and events, and it's underway here again in the kingdom this week.
I agree. I'm actually a huge fan of snooker as well. So in terms of other sporting opportunities, a man who is obviously similar to yourself in terms of promotion is Dana White. He himself has said he would like to set up a boxing promotion. Would you ever see yourself working with him closely on that in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great relationship with Dana. I think if he was to come into boxing, it would be great for boxing and the profile of the sport. I don't know if it's going to be something that he's going to want to do because it's a very frustrating business. And, he has such a great model with the UFC where he kind of has ownership and central contracts to just tell fighters, you're fighting him, you're fighting him. Where in boxing, it's kind of like a negotiation process to go through so many different layers of trainers and advisors and managers and lawyers. And that might frustrate him, but it would be great for boxing. And of course, we'd welcome him with open arms. And, they've got a great business at UFC and TKO, do a lot of business here in Riyadh and the Middle East as well. So, yeah, it would be great for the sport. And
just lastly, obviously, I'm an Irishman. It would be a sin if I didn't ask you about Katie Taylor. Obviously, I believe there's a deadline in January where it will have to be announced her next fight. The whole country of Ireland is hoping it will be held in Croke Park. Could you tell us any more details on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got mandatory in Chantel Cameron, but also, of course, off the back of those huge viewing figures, there is potential to do Taylor against Serrano 3. The last fight was incredible. The first fight was incredible. And, Katie is coming to the end of her career. There's no doubt about it. The dream has always been Croke Park. Now she's probably bigger than ever off the back of that Netflix event. And I think we could do it. And, if we can make the numbers work and we could speak to our friends at MVP and Jake Paul and those guys, why not? It would be historic. 2025 could be Katie's last year in the sport. She's coming off two of her greatest victories in Chantel Cameron and Amanda Serrano. If we could set up that dream for her of Croke Park, it would be an incredible experience.
Eddie Hearn, the chairman of Matchroom Sports, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.